Hey, welcome back to Math Quest. All right, so you want to learn how to use the Pythagorean Theorem? Not a problem. First thing, I hope you have your notebook ready. Take some notes. The first thing you should be doing is pausing this video and writing what I have on the screen right now. All of this, right? So pause it and get to it. So now that you've written all this down, excuse me, I almost burped on camera. Okay, this is the Pythagorean Theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. All right. And notice I have a right here, b right here, and c right here. The first thing you should know, the Pythagorean theorem only works on right triangles. So 90-degree angle right here, right triangles. If it's you don't have a 90-degree angle, it's not going to work. The second thing you should know, you see where a is and b is? It doesn't matter. I can flip-flop them. It's not going to matter which one's a, which one's b. Because if you look at the theorem here, the equation, a plus b. Well, it doesn't matter if I add b plus a, I'll get the same answer. Remember, addition doesn't matter which order you add in, you'll get the same answer. So that's the second thing. And now that you know all that, let's go ahead and give it some values, right? I wrote some down here. So let's say that the value for b here is going to be 9 units. And the value for this one down here, what did I put? 12. All right, let's make that 12 units. All right. So now, obviously, we want to find the value of c. Notice here, c. So let's plug in what we have, 9 and 12. So we're going to put in a 9, and we're going to put in a 12. Notice that each one of these is squared. So I need to add that exponent to my actual numbers. So the exponent here plus 12 with the exponent there is going to equal c to the power of 2. So 9 squared is 81. 12 squared is 144 equals c squared. Next, let's go ahead and add 144 plus 81, which would be 184, 5, 225 equals c squared. Now, you can't end your answer like this. You have to get rid of that exponent that's on the c. And remember, to undo powers, this is when you use the radicals. This symbol right here is called a radical, or some people refer to it as a square root. So if you square root one side, you got to do it to the other, right? So the square root of c squared is simply c, and the square root of 225 is 15. Okay, so what does this mean? This means that the length of this diagonal line is 15. Here's the other thing you should know about this diagonal line. You ready? Write this down. It's called the hypotenuse. I'm like, hey. It's called a hypotenuse. So, how do you spell that? High with a Y, pot. This is a P, by the way. And noose, that's an S. So hypotenuse, that's how you spell it. That's what this is called right here. Because sometimes they'll ask you, find the length of the hypotenuse. Like, oh, I thought they were going to ask me to find the length of c squared. What is the hypotenuse? It's just the diagonal side. All right. All right. Here we go. I hope you have a basic understanding of how to use the Pythagorean theorem. And as you can see, the most complicated thing about this is the name. Pythagorean theorem, right? Sounds complicated. Sounds like I'm doing some rocket science here, some real engineering. All right, here we go again. Let's find it. Now remember, the Pythagorean theorem can be used to find any side. So this time we're going to give c right here. We're going to give c a value. So let's give that a value of 13. Let's give a value of 7, and we'll make this b what we have to solve for. All right, so again, our formula, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now all we have to do is plug and play, right? The playing part is what I like. Play with math, it's so much fun. All right, so we got 7, right? I'm taking that 7 for a, putting it here, and remember to add the exponent, bring down your plus sign. B does not have a value, so I'm just going to rewrite that. B squared equals, and this time c squared does have a value. It is 13. So we're going to put 13 squared. All right. Now, same thing, we have a two-step equation, just that we have a value here, and we're missing that. So let's go ahead and take the square root of each, excuse me, not the square root, but the square of each number. So we have 49 plus b squared equals 169, right? 20, 100, 100, and I believe that's correct. All right, and now we're going to subtract 49 from both sides. That's going to give me b squared equals, and this is subtraction, so that's a 0, that's a 2, and that's a 1. So we have 120. So now, last step, because we need to get rid of this exponent here. So we're going to take the square root here and take the square root here. This gives me b. And this square root of 120 is not a perfect square, I don't think. My phone keeps going off. I should have put it on silence, but since I have it, let me see. Hey, Google, what is the square root of 120?
The square root of 120 is approximately 10.95.
So there you heard it, approximately 10.95. So we need to use wavy lines here, right, for our approximately 10.95. Now, actually, I could probably round it to 11 because it's approximate anyway, right? And that's how you find it when C is the one that's missing the value. So I showed you an example for A and B, all right? Hopefully you have an understanding now of how to use the Pythagorean theorem, but wait, hold off, because I know there's always some students, but Mr. Medina, when are we going to use this in real life? When do we have to use it? Why do we have to learn it? Why can't I just get an A for being in this class? Right? I know. Well, here, let's take a look. Here's an example. So we have here a ladder. We have a ladder here going up to the top of the building, right? And that ladder happens to be an 18-foot ladder. Now that ladder is 4 feet away from the wall. What we want to find out is how high is that building? How tall is the building, right? That's what we're going to find out. So let's see if I can I move this? Oh, yes. Give me some working space. There we go. So let's do this. So right here, remember, this right here, the bottom, we can call that A. We can call this that's labeled right now as H. We can call it our B, and where we have 18 feet, that's our C. So go ahead and pause the video and see if you can get the answer yourself. So hopefully you gave it a shot, and let's do this. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Now let's do some plugging in. 4 squared equals B, equals, I'm getting ahead of myself. Like I want to find the answer now. All right, plus B squared, which we don't have a B. Now, in this case, you can put in an H. It doesn't matter what you put in, right? As long as you're following the process on finding the solution. And then 18 squared. So, here we have 16 plus B squared equals 18 squared. No, stop it. Oh, man, I hate, sometimes technology just really doesn't care. Look at it. It's just going crazy. I think that happens when the battery is low on my tablet here. So I apologize for that. Actually, you know what? The tablet should be apologizing to you. All right. What do we have here? I lost my train of thought. Oh, 18 squared. See, I don't even know what 18 squared is. Now I'm going to have to get my calculator. I could have been doing that. So here we go. 18 to the power of 2. Okay. That is wrong because I accidentally hit 1 times 18. Oh my goodness, what is wrong with this calculator? I'm sorry, let me pause the video for a second. Okay, so we have 324. So right here, let's write 324. Now, we're going to subtract 16 from both sides. We have B squared, which is going to be our height, the H, right? And right here, we're going to subtract. So let me see if I can subtract 8, 0, and 3. So 308, take the square root of both sides, and b is going to be approximately, hey Google, what's the square root of 308?
The square root of 308 is approximately 17.55.
17.55. So normally I would tell my students in this case to round it off to 17.6. Okay? Approximately. Besides, the answers don't really matter, not in my classroom. The process is what matters. If they did all the steps right and messed up at the end, so what? I still give them credit because they know the process. And that's what I'm testing on. And I hope you're understanding what this is so that you're able to ace your next test. All right? Hopefully that makes sense. Now you know how you can use it in real life, but most importantly, you know how to use the Pythagorean theorem and only be able to use it on right triangles, right angles. Okay? Thank you so much for being here. And if you got value out of this, please hit the like and subscribe button. And I'll see you next time on Math Clip. Goodbye.